Hello Internet! I have for you today another tutorial, this time on getting started in the Botania mod. So this is a quick crash course in Botania. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get yourself a copy of the Lexica Botanica. And this book is pretty easy to craft, just like most of these. You're going to need a book, and then you're going to need a sapling. And I have an oak sapling here in the frame, but you can use any vanilla sapling, and most modded saplings should work. You do need to use a sapling, though. A dynamic trees seed will not work. Fortunately, dynamic trees has ways to get saplings if you only have those available. Once you have the Lexica Botanica, it has a few nifty features that I want to go over real quick. First of all, in addition to acting as a standard book and giving you all of your information that you need to know about this mod, it also has the Botania advancements and challenges down here. So this will open up your advancement screen, which will give you quick access to that. The challenges, on the other hand, will give you different things that you can do throughout the course of this mod to kind of give you something to do if you're not sure what it is that you want to do. So we're going to go over some other things along that, as well as give you the tools that you would need to actually make that. Another thing that's very handy is if you're holding the book in your hand and you point your cursor at a block, you get this little overlay. And if you press left shift or sneak, you will then get the name of the block that you're pointing at, as well as a @ symbol at whatever wiki is applicable. So for vanilla items, it will point you towards the Minecraft wiki. For modded items, for Botanium items, it will give you a quick definition from the book, and if you right click, it will actually open to that page in the book. If you were to look at a modded item from a different mod, it will give you the @Feed the Beast wiki. If you right click with either the Feed the Beast wiki or the Minecraft wiki item emblems up, it will actually open that wiki to that page in your web browser. So that can be a quick way if you're not sure how a particular block works and you happen to have one of these books in your inventory or somewhere in your storage. You can pull that out and get a real quick access to the wiki. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to head out into the world and you're going to want to find yourself some mystical flowers. And there's quite a few different varieties of these. And there's the 1 block tall mystical flowers, which, like most flowers, can be broken with your fist in survival. There's also the 2 block tall mystical flowers. In order to break those, you will need a pair of shears, and then you just simply click them in the same way that you would any other ones. It's obviously not going to work for me because I'm in creative mode. If you are having trouble finding mystical flowers, for example, if you're playing in a skyblock map or some other map type generation where the mystical flowers simply do not generate, or if you or other members of your multiplayer server have already cleaned out all of the flowers in the vicinity, there is a way for you to generate more, and that is through the use of Floral Fertilizer. In order to craft yourself some Floral Fertilizer, there are 2 different methods to do it. The first one is by using some bone meal, along with 2 dandelion yellow and 2 rose red. They do have to be the dandelion yellow and the rose red. There may be some modded dyes that will work, but I don't know of any offhand. The vanilla ones do function. The other way to craft this is by using 4 of any type of floral powder, which you create using the pestle and mortar. Then you just place it into the same configuration, bone meal, and 4 of the floral powders in a crafting grid, and that will get you the Floral Fertilizer. Then you take the Floral Fertilizer, find yourself a nice grassy patch, and just right-click the fertilizer onto the ground, and that will cause many flowers to spawn all around you, which you can then just harvest as you were. It will only generate the 1 block tall flowers. If you want the 2 block talls for something, you will need to bone meal the 1 block flower, and then use shears to harvest that. Once you have a collection of flowers, whether the 2 blocks or the 1 block, you can then take to any crafting grid, take your flowers, place them into the grid, and create the petals. The 1 block high flowers will give you 2 petals per flower. The 2 block will give you 4. a nice little doubling. If you happen to have bone meal on hand, you can bone meal the 1 block tall flowers to create the 2 blocks. Just remember that you then need shears in order to harvest these. If you break them with your fist, they will just disappear. One useful thing that you can do with these petals, once you have a good supply of them, is you can create for yourself a pestle and mortar, which is very backwards for how I was taught how to say this. But it is a stick, any kind of plank, and then a bowl. You can then take your flower petals into into a crafting grid alongside this block here, and that will create the floral powder, and the color of the petal will match the color of the powder. This powder can be used as dye, so if you need a particular kind of dye and you don't have the normal version of it, in most instances you can use the Botania version, so you can dye your little fox friends ribbons or any other thing that you need to do with it. Now, the much more useful thing to be doing with your petals, especially when you're first getting started, is to actually progress in Botania. In order to do that, the first thing that you're going to need to make is going to be a petal apothecary. In order to craft this, you will take 4 cobblestone blocks in this configuration here, 2 cobblestone slabs, just like that, and then any color petal. I would recommend using whichever color you have the most of, but maybe not white. And you'll see why here in just a second. So once you have your petal apothecary, you're going to want to find a good place to put it. And it doesn't really matter where you want to place it, but I would recommend placing it somewhere near an infinite water source, as you will need water in your apothecary fairly regularly. In order to use this, once it's placed, you're going to need to put water into the basin here. Now, it may seem like you could put it in by just clicking the top, but if you do that, you're going to end up with water on the ground. In order to get it into the apothecary reliably, you're going to want to click on the bottom of the block. And as you can see, that will put the water into it on the top. It's very strange, and it doesn't seem like it should work that way, but it does. And that's how it works. So the first thing that you're going to need to create once you have your petal apothecary is a pure daisy. The pure daisy is crafted in the petal apothecary, and the way that you craft it is by taking 4 mystical white petals and throwing them into the apothecary. And I do mean throw. Don't right-click on the apothecary. If you have grass or dirt around it, you'll actually end up planting the flower in the grass, which can be useful for some things, but isn't what we want right now. So what you want to do is you want to stand right next to it, and then while holding the petal in your hand, press Q to throw it in. As you can see, the petal is now floating in the water. There is a particle effect happening on the water itself. And if you point your cursor at the apothecary, you will get a graphical representation of the petal that is in there. You're going to want to go ahead and throw all 4 petals into the apothecary, and once you have a valid crafting recipe for the apothecary, you get this graphic right here. And this shows you that this is a valid recipe. It is going to create a pure daisy. All you have to do is add some seeds. And that is standard vanilla Minecraft wheat seeds. Some modded seeds may work, but as far as I'm aware, in the 1.12 version, the only vanilla seed that works is wheat. All you have to do for that is throw that in like the same way, and you will get yourself a pure daisy. At this point, if you refill the apothecary, you will get the right-click with an empty hand message. If you have the necessary ingredients in your inventory, you can right-click on the apothecary, and it will put all of those ingredients back into the apothecary and allow you to then throw some seeds in to recreate the item that you just created. And as you can see, that doesn't last forever, and if you start throwing items in that are other than the previous recipe, it will just go away, so you don't have to wait for that message to go if there's a bunch of different items that you need to craft rapidly. But that can be very handy if you're looking to mass produce some item that is made in the petal apothecary. Once you have your pure daisy crafted, you're going to want to find a good place to place it down. And what you're going to be doing with that is you're going to be creating living wood and living rock. And the way that you do that is by placing down in the world the pure daisy, and then either any kind of log and basic stone. And it does have to be stone. Cobblestone does not work. So you will need to smelt your cobblestone. You place these items down next to the pure daisy, and you will get these particle effects happening around them. Botania is a very particle-heavy mod. If you're not a fan of particle effects, you can turn them off, but then it will be difficult to tell what is going on with the mod. This kind of process takes a little while to work. Once it does, then it will transform the stone into living rock and the wood into living wood. Those can then be harvested with an axe and a pickaxe, and they will drop themselves when you break them. You're going to want to get this started and have it running in kind of in the background. Just kind of remember to walk by and take a look at it. And you can use all 8 spaces surrounding the daisy. All of these are valid spaces to transform your blocks. Above it and below it are not. So you can basically do 8 at once, and there we go. That one just went, and then this one should go here in just a second. But you can use all 8 spaces around it. There it goes right there. You can use all 8 spaces around it. They will work. And just remember to periodically walk by and harvest these and then place down new ones. There are some other transformations that you can use with the pure daisy. And you can check here in JEI and see what other transformations your particular mod pack has available to you. Like I said, these are the 2 basic ones that you're going to want to be using. There's also a few other ones that may or may not be useful to you. And I do plan on having a video that will be coming out shortly to show you how to automate this process using Applied Energistics. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Once you have your pure daisy and you have a good supply of living wood going, the next thing you're going to need to make is a wand of the forest. In order to craft this, you're going to need some living wood twigs. Each living wood twig is created with 2 living wood blocks or logs. 2 of these will create 1 twig. So this is not like vanilla where you get 4, you do get 1 for 2. You will need 3 of those and then 2 petals of any color. The colors that you pick for your petal will affect the colors of your wand. They don't do anything else. They will just change the colors of the petals that are sticking off of your wand. This little leaf right here is always green, but you can change these 2 colors to customize it how you would like. Your wand is going to be super handy going forward in the mod, as it will give you information about the different blocks and how things are working. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start work on mana production. In order to contain your mana or create a reservoir of mana, you are going to need a mana pool. The mana pool is crafted by using 5 living rocks in this configuration in a crafting grid, and that will create your mana pool. Then to fill your mana pool, you will again need to make use of your petal apothecary. And the easiest one to make use of is the endoflame. There are a number of other generating flowers which you can find in your Lexica Botanica if you want to go with one of those, but this is the easiest one to get started with. The recipe to craft it is 2 brown petals, 1 red petal, and 1 light gray petal. And make sure you're using the light gray petal. I have a tendency to go for the gray petal, and that does not work. Same as creating the pure daisy, you simply throw these into your petal apothecary, throw some seeds in, and that will get you your endoflame. Find a good place in your world to place down your endoflame. You'll probably want to have several. And then you will need a way to get the mana from the endoflame into the mana pool, and that is through the use of a mana spreader. The mana spreader is crafted by having 6 living wood, 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom, a gold ingot, and then any color of petal in the middle. And that will create the mana spreader. Place that down somewhere in between your endoflames and your mana pool. You do not need to align them, because that is what you will do with your wand. So as you can see, if I hover over this endoflame, you can see that it has a check mark on the UI there, and the mana spreader in the world has been highlighted. And that is telling you that this Endo Flame is linked to this mana spreader. Likewise, this mana spreader is linked to this mana pool, and there is this nice dashed line that appears between the spreader and the pool. And that line only appears while you're holding the wand, so you don't have to worry about it clogging up your system or bogging things down. In order to link your Endo Flames to your mana spreader or your mana spreader to your mana pool, you will simply shift right click on the first one, so the Endo Flame, and you see that it does highlight. I will then shift right click on the mana spreader, and there's a quick little particle effect, and now if I hover over this flame, I get the same result as this flame. So that tells me that those are connected. So if you're having trouble where you're generating flowers are not putting the mana that they're generating into your mana pool, just pull out your wand and send a quick hover over that and look for that red X to appear. Now, in order to use your Endo Flames, you are going to need to provide them with fuel. Some form of fuel, anything that you can put in a furnace to burn will work in an Endo Flame, unless that fuel item has a leftover. So, for example, you cannot use buckets of lava because the bucket is left over. In order to use these, you just throw them into the world. The Endo Flame will pick it up. You'll get a nice little graphic of it, and it will begin producing mana. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that they max out at a burn time of the equivalent to a block of coal. So anything that has a burn time of more than 16,000 ticks, as you can see here with this block of coal, it will still work. The Endo Flame will pick it up and will burn it, but it will stop burning after that 16,000 ticks. So if you have something, some modded item that has 32,000 ticks, it will only burn half of it before it just stops and goes on to the next one. So if you're looking for efficiency, blocks of coal are the top of the tier. Like I said, you will just find your Endo Flame, toss the coal down near it. After a few seconds, the flame, one of the flowers in the vicinity will pick it up, and this animation will start. And then if we look here at our mana spreader, we can see that every few seconds this pulse of mana shoots out of it and goes into the mana pool. In order to check how much mana is in your mana pool, you can just right click on the pool, and the unknown status there will change. That little bar in the center is your current mana. And as you can see, there is just the tiniest little sliver of it right there at the left side. That will steadily fill up as the mana pool gains more mana. Likewise, the visible mana inside the pool will slowly climb up until it reaches about there, where it is then full. Now, what can you do with a mana pool? Well, the first thing that you're probably going to want to be doing is creating some mana steel. And the way that you create mana steel is by taking an iron ingot and tossing it into your mana pool. And as you can see, like with most things in Botania, if you hover over your pool, you will get a little graphical UI showing you exactly what recipe it is that you are about to do and whether or not you have enough mana for it. That is the check mark in the center of the screen. You can also create a mana pearl by throwing an ender pearl in, a mana diamond by throwing a diamond in, and mana infused string by throwing string in. Each of these different items have different uses throughout the mod. The Lexica Botanica can walk you through exactly what it is that each one of these can be used for and what they're useful for. The first thing you will probably end up doing is creating some mana steel armor and tools, depending on the mods that you have available to you. Mana steel armor can be one of the best armors that you have available to you, and it's relatively easy to get. The crafting recipes are exactly the same as your vanilla armors. As you can see, you just take some ingots and throw them in to create a helmet, chest plate, leggings, and boots. You can also create mana steel pickaxes, which you'll need some more living wood tools for. Shovel, axe, sword. There are even mana steel shears that you can use. These items have their advantages. They have slightly more defense. They have more stronger attacks. And again, depending on the mods that you have available, they may or may not be useful to you. But anyway, that's about it for getting started with Botania. Like I said, the Alexa Botanica will guide you through anything else that you want to do with this particular mod. There are a number of challenges that the book has for you, as well as a trading portal that you can build to gain access to the higher tier items that the mod has, as well as 2 different difficulties of boss for you to fight. Those can be quite fun, and you do get some rather nifty rewards out of that. So that's really all I have for you about getting started in Botania. If there's any other mod that you would like to see me go over like this for you, let me know down in the comments, and make sure that you are subscribed so that you don't miss any upcoming crash courses or automation videos that I have coming for you soon. Likewise, if you would like to get your name on one of my little fox friends that I have here, just let me know down in the comments what color ribbon you would like and what name you would like to have on there, and you could be appearing in my future videos. Until then, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next video. Happy Minecrafting.